as you guys were getting Funkdoobiest together and Cypress Hills blowing up or blows up, what
Yes.
made you guys go with Epic Sony instead of Ruffhouse Columbia like Cypress Hill?
Okay. So the Ruffhouse Columbia deal was offered. I'm trying to remember why we didn't take that offer. Tommy Boy offered us, a deal. And then, of course, you know what it was? It was a situation where it was Immortal Records, which was Happy Walters, and he was a startup label. And so he was the new guy on the block. He was managing Cypress Hill. He was Buzz Tone, etc. So Muggs, even though we could have took those deals, I think it was suggested to us. They was like, "Yo, Happy starting a new deal. You guys will be the first guys on that record label. He's going to focus on what you got. I think that it would be cool if you guys signed the Immortal, which had the subsidiary with Sony Records." And then so we were like, okay, because at that point we wanted to make sure that our record was going to be loud and that it was loud and clear, like that we made a statement that we were able to define ourselves. Yeah, we were soul assassins, and yeah, we went through Mugs and the whole nine, but we still wanted our own lane. So with Tommy Boy, House of Pain was on Tommy Boy, Rough House was Cypress and Fuji's and all that. And so we were like, let's go with Epic, and then to be on a record label that had literally the Michael Jackson Epic label 10 years after the Thriller album was pretty cool, man. Like I really feel like to this day, I'm very honored. And it was Epic Street, and it went through so many changes, but to see that Which Doobie You Be label on Epic, which was like those records, like Michael Jackson Thriller, it's a real dream come true, man.
Yeah, it's amazing. Don't forget Above the Law, Epic too.
And you know what? The early Death Row stuff, right? They did the Snoop Dogg 187.
Yeah,
That was like one of the first singles on Epic, which was
deep,
crazy.
deep cover. Yep.
Yeah, the deep cover single. I tripped off that, man, because I love those records, bro.
Yeah. Well, on Which Doobie You Be,
Mhm.
the songs where you're credited as a writer, producer, what have you. The thing that I really enjoyed, and this carries on to Brothers Doobie as well,
Yeah.
is the drums. Other than really one exception, probably on Which Doobie You Be, the Doobie to the Head. All the
Mm.
other songs, the
Mhm.
drums are so hard. So
Thank you.
incredible. So for
Mm.
me, as somebody that's always been drawn and attracted to drums, I
Mhm.
really enjoyed it. And here I am is spectacular on the percussion side. So
Well,
how do you find,
yeah.
or what was your process in crate digging, looking for different drum sounds and
Mhm.
utilizing them?
I tell you, man, with that doobie to the head, man, it was really a special creation for me because I was still developing as far as I was I didn't know what I was doing, you know, and so those tracks and those ideas really came together. Um, I say through the grace of God, you know what I'm saying? Like because I always wanted to do something different. And so those records symbolize that as far as Ralph M, as far as tribal funk. That's how the tribal funk sound came out because I was just in such a zone that I kept just wanting to incorporate Native American, of course, Mexican, Aztec, Puerto Rican, just I wanted to create something that was tribal. It was universal to everybody. You know what I'm saying? Tribal just means like universal. So when that record, and I found that when I found that record, and I started when with the drums particularly, when that came together, and then the bass line, and then all this other stuff, it was really experimental. Like I didn't even know what was to, I'm just so happy that the feedback is so positive with that. Of course, here I am also with Tomahawk Funk. He's one of the original Cypress guys. He was actually the guy that was the best rapper out of everybody at first. before Mello, before B, before Sin, T-Funk was killing it. He was the one that was like, yo, that's with DJ with Muggs and T-Funk. Like they were the dudes who were like, T-Funk was the leader. You know what I'm saying? Like breaking it down. So, when I met T later as well, and we incorporated our situation, it was perfect because it just was the perfect blend for what we needed to do. And with those records, SP 1200 style, man, I tell you, man, I just worked hard and hard on those. I mean, 10,000 hours of just experimenting, of trying things, of switching that with this. Okay, that doesn't work. The one thing that I used to do with the SP 1200 was I would create the disc. Okay, so let's say I have the drums and the bass line. Then what I would do was I would trick the computer so that I could create more sounds. So I would take the disc out, I'd save that disc, okay, and then reload the disc, pull up the sounds, keep the drums, keep the bass line, and whatever else was there that I didn't need, I would take out, and then I would continue to create, and then I would save another disc, and then another disc, and then another disc, and then so by the time I got to the studio, I'd have 3 or 4 discs that I knew were going to be used for the arrangement of the song, and then I would drop every disc, and then that's how I would get the music. Of course, 10 seconds. But for me, it was like, no, we're gonna trick. We still need to get other sounds. So it's not limited. It's just a matter of how you approach it. And so for me, it was like, okay, cool. Don't worry. Delete that. Delete. It's saved already. Just delete it. Delete it. Delete it. Delete it. And then go back. Now we're back to bass line, drums. Where's the ear candy at? Okay, create
Well,
some more sounds.
well, on Freak Mode and I'll Come On Yeah,
Yeah,
two of my favorites, you had the piano in there.
yeah, that was
So
fly shit. Yes, sir. Thank you. Go ahead.
it was very, very. But the thing
Yeah.
the thing that I liked about it is we've heard it in rap before and after, but I
Mm-hmm.
just think it's amazing when a piano is used for like a harder sound
Mm-hmm.
of a song.
Mm-hmm.
So for you, what made you confident or what made you believe that a piano, which normally isn't assumed lined up with being hardcore,
Yes.
that would work on like a harder type of song like a Freak Mode or Oh Come On Yeah.
Okay, so trip this. In 1991, I meet Large Professor, okay, Extra P. I meet him through a mutual friend, Yusef, who went to Fairfax with me. So
You,
in like 89,
is that Yusef Afloat?
1989, I'm sorry,
Yusef Afloat?
Yusef Latif.
Okay.
Yeah, Yusef Latif, and that's my cat from Fairfax. He was Paul extra large. Excuse me, large professor. Of course, Paul. He was like his cousin. They're like cousins. He play cousins, but closely related, right? Like, so he would always tell me, "Yo, I know G Rap. I met G." He was from Queens. He was like, "Yo, I know them dudes, man. I know large, And I was like, I was just tripping because I was like, we were kids at Fairfax, and we didn't know who we were meeting at the time. So for me, it was interesting because he would always tell me stuff about the SP before I got on the SP, and I didn't know. I didn't know that he was really that dude. So in '91, he invites me over to the crib. He's like, yo, come through, man. Paulie's about to come through. We're recording music and shit. Like, I want you to meet him. I was like, okay, cool. I'm gonna come through there. And then I walk into the room, and then I see Large Professor, and I see how he's doing his thing. And you know how you walk into a room, and you're like, there's nobody there. I was weird, man, because when I walked in, it was just Paul, and it was me. But I like literally walked. I was like, walked in real quietly, like I was just observing, and I just saw his enthusiasm. And I saw how excited he was about music and about how he was doing things, that it just inspired me, man. And it was exciting. It was like, yo, what's up with this dude? This guy, I already knew who he was because we had done a show in Germany before with Kid Frost. I had done a show with Kid Frost, and I had seen Main Source there. And I was like, I seen that dude. I know who that dude is with the glasses. I've seen him with on the cover. I know who that dude is, but we didn't talk and we didn't meet. So just to answer the question, just to not to digress, but just to kind of add to that, that was exciting, dude. Like the SB 1200, Yusef Latif, and then also of course like Julio G and Tony G. They helped. They gave me sounds, mugs. Everybody helped me develop as an SB 1200 guy because I didn't know what I was doing. I was just playing loops. I remember I couldn't even record the loop. I was just playing the loop, and I would record on the 4-track, and then I'd try to create the song on the 4-track based on the loop, just to get the ideas. And finally, I got the loop down as far as being able to sequence. And anyway, to answer to the question, okay, was that the question right there, or was that?
Well, it was why you believed the piano would work so well.
Oh, thank you. Okay, now that's why Large Professor comes into the mix, and thank you. I'll tell you like this. I heard Large Professor sample Alan Toussaint, Getting Out My Life Woman, the piano. The one that we used later with Todd Ray, with T-Ray, which was Get Out My Life Woman sample, which was the Joe Williams version, which was the doom, 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 doom. Okay, I was just trying to do my version of that because I heard it. I didn't know. I had so much respect for Large Professor that I didn't look at that record because he kept sampling it the whole fucking day. He kept playing it and then sampling it, and then he would erase it. Then he would, like, he was just, that's what I mean about enthusiasm. He didn't even save it. He just would go back, play the record again, and then sample it, and then play it, and then sample and loop it. And I was like, yo, but I stood back. I wanted to look at that record, but I didn't because I had so much respect for him. Because if I knew what that record was, I knew I was going to go out and look for that shit. And I left it alone. And then so that was why, come on, yeah. That one part in the bridge when it, dun, 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 like if you listen back to that, you'll hear not the first pianos during the verses. Those were just me having fun with like a sound. And then in that bridge part where we're scratching, and then you hear the dun, 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 dun. Like I was just trying to do my version of that. I played off that because I sampled some piano that I got, and I was just like, yo, that sounds like that shit. And I was like, ooh, let me see if I can. And then it just worked out. Somehow it worked out where it made sense, and I kept it. And then when I'll never forget, Muggs and Funkdoobiest came, and they played Shitting on Them for me. And when I heard the T-Ray version, I was like, yo, I was like, Large Professor used that beat. And they were like, that's cool. We could use it too. You know what I'm saying? And I'm thinking, shit, that's dope. I'm excited about this record. You know what I'm saying? Because he had done a song too. I think it's called, it was on Wild Pitch that he did he use it. I mean, he used it, of course, that became the Cool G Rap, Ill Street Blues. They used a different section of it, but it was still the same Joe Williams record. And then, just on a side note, that was on Solid State Records, which was, or Solid State Recordings, I believe, which was a subsidiary of Capitol Records. And my aunt on my father's side used to work at the Capitol Records pressing plant in Echo Park. It was like right off the 2 freeway over there in that area. So I had that record, unbeknownst to me. I didn't know till later. I found out. I was like, oh shit, that record's been sitting in the vault. And I was sleeping like a mother. You know what I'm saying?
Be sure to check out the History of Gangster Rap by Soren Baker. He's official.
History of Gangster Rap features exclusive interviews with Ice-T, Snoop Dogg, MC Ren, the D.O.C, and dozens of others. The History of Gangster Rap, a definitive look at how Los Angeles changed rap forever.
In Los Angeles, the streets definitely set the tone of the hip-hop music.
At 19, I got a $50,000 car.
My whole angle always was, I'll be street, but I will always tell you the horrors that go along with this life.
There will be penalties and casualties for just wearing the wrong color in somebody's neighborhood.
And once gangster rap made it from the streets to the TV, the genre exploded.
With Fab 5 on your TV back with NWA.
Yo MTV, it just catapulted us from being local heroes to national gangbang rappers.
The History of Gangster Rap discusses it all from 1980 up till today.
It's always gonna be shit happening in the streets. You know what I mean? So it's always gonna be something to talk about.
The History of Gangster Rap in stores now.